So good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Is It That Bad, where we take a look at an album that maybe got bad reviews and mixed reviews, and we take a listen to it to see like if it wasn't that bad or not. And for this Is It That Bad episode, we're talking about a band that's releasing their first new album this year in a long time. But this was the last album they released back in 2017. It was Incubus with 8. So yeah, it's been 8 years since. No, I think more. Yeah, 8 years roughly since the last time that Incubus put on an album. It was their last album, and it was their first album with Island Records. So yeah, very simple cover. So we're gonna talk about this album. So today we have someone new on the channel. So we have Rock of All Ages. Rock of All Ages, how are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
Good. We have JC Rock and Metal Reviews. How are you, Gypsy?
Doing good, thanks.
We have Lorenzo the Professor. How are you, Lorenzo?
I'm good. How's it going?
Yes, I'm good. And we have I think he's Josh from Pirate. What's the name of the channel, Josh?
Pirate Novelist.
Pirate. Josh, I'll call you the Pirate. Josh the Pirate.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's new, and of course, me. So the rules of the Is It That Bad is we have the 3 rounds. On the first round, we give our first impressions of what we thought when we first listened to this album. Then on round 2, we pick 3 songs that maybe we think are the weakest. And on the third and final round, we give our final thoughts and we vote thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So we're gonna start Rock of All Ages, Lorenzo, JC, Josh the Pirate, and then me. So who did I say first?
Rock of All Ages.
Rock of All Ages, yes, then Lorenzo. So Rock of All Ages, your initial thoughts?
For a long time, I didn't know who Incubus was. My only knowledge of them was Drive, which was, of course, a huge hit back in the day. I'd taken a music production class in community college, and we had a project once to recreate that song. We didn't do a great job. I have since learned more about the band, and I have given scores to Pardon Me and Megalomaniac over on my channel. Both good songs. To prepare for this episode, I did 2 things. Firstly, I made a playlist of all of their hits over on the alternative airplay charts where they had their most success. So we're talking songs like, Pardon Me, Drive, Wish You Were Here, Nice to Know You, all their big songs. And then the second thing I did was I listened to their album Morning View. I don't love that album's closing track, but overall, it's a very good album. Nice to Know You has become one of my personal favorite Incubus songs. As for this album, 8, I put it on, and I thought the opening track, No Fun, started out promising. But when Brandon Boyd started singing, literally my first thought was, this sounds like a day to remember. Like they heard this album when it came out and decided to become a worse band from then on.
Oh no.
The blurb that Apple Music wrote for the album says that Skrillex, who's apparently a friend of the band, was hired to produce at the last minute, and it's tempting to blame him, I think, especially after what he did with Korn. But honestly, the music sounds decent. Uh, my biggest issue with the album is Brandon Boyd's vocals. He sounds pretty bad on the album. A sizable portion of the album, including songs that I didn't even pick for my bottom 3, featured bad or lackluster vocals. And I'll say more about that in the next round.
Okay, good initial thoughts. What about you, Lorenzo?
Well, I mean, Incubus is I grew up listening to music. I started listening to a lot of music during the late 90s. So, I started listening to music when Incubus was, starting to pick up the pace, as in becoming more famous. And I remember really, really liking Incubus because they were so different from all of the other, I guess you would call them alternative. Some people call them nu metal, but I never really liked to call to put them in the same space as Limp Bizkit. So um I liked Incubus a lot. I remember listening to a lot of their albums, and I remember not being able to see them live when they first came to Puerto Rico back in the 2000s. I don't remember when exactly, but I didn't have the money to go to be able to go. So I was very bummed. And my friend, a really good friend of mine, when Nice to Know You actually, no, I mean when Wish You Were Here came out, she put the cell phone up and made me, I could listen to something on the cell phone. But I actually got to see them live. Hector was also there. So I saw them live this year, and it was a very fun show. Um, this album not so much. But I think we'll go deeper into it. I didn't love the production. I think it has to do with Brandon Boyd's vocals not being the same as they were years ago, which I mean, it happens, but I don't know if the production of the vocals was serving Brandon Boyd at all in this album. So I don't know. We'll talk more about the songs and all that.
Yeah, good initial thoughts. What about you, JC?
Okay, I was a fan of Incubus back in the late 90s, early 2000s when they had their big albums, Make Yourself and Morning View. And then I kind of lost track of them. I think I might have listened to A Crow Left of the Murder, but the ones after that, there's two albums after that, which I don't think I've ever heard. But I did get back into them when they released this one called 8 in 2017. So I listened to it back then, although I don't really remember it a lot. So I listened to it again. And upon re-listening it, I noticed, well, I'm going to say some of the same things you guys said. The production is muddy, so it doesn't have the greatest production, and Brandon Boyd's vocals aren't really, in top form. They don't sound like as good as they used to be. So those are probably like the biggest issues, and I think it has to do with the production, I guess, the way they did it. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really heard the new album. I know that there might be a single out there, but I don't know what he sounds like now. But I think just that the vocals aren't in top form. But despite that, I think there are some songs that are pretty decent that did have that classic sound, more reminiscent of the Morning View. There's some weird stuff. I think there's one song that everyone's gonna pick. We'll see if that happens. But other than that, it's kind of a mixed bag for me. And then I'll elaborate more in the next round. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he sounded good live. When I saw.
Okay.
Yeah. So good first impression. So for the first time on the channel, your first thought, the pirate.
So first of all, I'm going to echo kind of what everybody else said. When I first listened to it, with the quality of like the production and everything, I kind of noticed. But to give a little bit of history with Incubus, I decided just a couple of years ago to do a little bit of a deep dive with their music and just other than the singles. And I have a tertiary knowledge a little bit. I like the album Science a lot, if that's how you even pronounce it. I really do dig that album.
Yeah.
But my first impression was, and I actually took some notes here. Yeah, I did notice a little bit of something different with the vocals and a little negative, a little positive on some places. So I'll get into that a little bit deeper as well in the next round. But I was just kind of mixed on it. There are moments I really did like, and then a couple that I was like on the fence on.
Nice. Good first impressions. So my first impression, I did listen to this when it came out in 2017, but I didn't remember it. And so I re-listened to it today. And I gotta say, I liked it more now than back then. I don't know. I think when it came out, I was like totally disappointed. But basically, they were like the album before that, If Not Now When, was pretty boring as well. But they did put out a EP called Trust Fall, and those EPs I thought the songs were better than this one. But listening today, yeah, I think it's a JC said mixed bag. There's some good stuff here, and then some stuff that is very questionable. But yeah, I think the production is the worst thing on this album. So those are my initial thoughts. So let's go to round two where we pick songs, the three songs. So Rock of Ages, what three songs did you pick?
My first song that I picked was Glitter Bomb. I thought the bridge and the breakdown were great, but Brandon's vocals are really bad on here. It sounds like this is going to sound like a weird comparison. It sounds like a bad Miles Kennedy impression at points. Also, the way he pronounces naivete was a choice. The second song I picked was State of the Art, which I thought was too sugary. Some of these songs sound like they could have been given to the Jonas Brothers or 5 Seconds of Summer, and this is a prime example of that. Worst song on the album, Love in a Time of Surveillance, which I said sounds like a bad version of Arctic Monkeys. And I've written down, Big Daddy's Got Your Number. Like, someone, Brandon Boyd probably, came up with that line, decided it was a good line to use, recorded it, and a producer, like, mixed it, and it went through the mixing and mastering process, and now we have to listen to it. And those are my three songs.
Nice. So what about you, Lorenzo? What are your three picks?
I don't know if this album is probably gonna be different. I think a lot of people are gonna pick very different tracks. I don't know why. It gives me that impression. I gotta say I agree with Rock of All Ages when it comes to lyrically. Some of these songs are very weak. I mean, Brandon Boyd has never, he has this thing where he likes to use metaphors and similes and he paints a picture. And there's none of this. There's none of that here. I think it sounds more like he was trying to make a mainstream rock record that's no sauce. So I think I don't know if I'm gonna pick the worst song first. I hated Loneliest. I absolutely
kind of like that one.
I hated that song.
I kind of like that one too.
I mean, I understand. It's just there's something about it. The music, I think the lyrics are gross. It's just it seems like he there was like how old is Brandon Boyd? He has to be like 50 something.
I don't know, 40s or 50s.
No, he's the piece.
This is lyrically what somebody in their 20s would sing, and it's not pretty. It's a song about he basically ends up saying that he's gonna go jack off. that's what the lyrics says basically.
He probably went for
No, he's doing it and thinking, wish you were here.
So I just I picked the interlude. I thought it didn't make any sense within the album. It's like a throwaway 30 seconds. So I'm not gonna talk about
that called, When I Become a Man?
When I Became a Man. It's just
that one was kind of stupid.
It doesn't make any sense, because the lyrically the album is kind of dark. It's darker than even though some of the songs sound like peppy, they're more darker lyrically. I also did not like Throw Out the Map.
Shaka Khan, motherfuckers.
It's just I do agree. I also go for like lyrics are very important to me sometimes. Sometimes I don't care because I know that they're not supposed to be. I can try to make that distinction. Like when Lordy, when we did the review of Lordy, we know what they're trying to do. It's more of a joke thing, a horror film thing. But here he's trying to be so I don't know, dark, but it's not. It's kind of weird. When Rockavale just mentioned what was the song?
State of the
Love in
Art?
the Time of Surveillance.
Oh, Love in the Time of Surveillance.
And I did not hate that song, but you know why? Because it's the only time they tried something. The only time this album is they're trying to experiment a little bit. Because Incubus was a band of experimentation, and it's kind of missing here. But I could have picked, I think the only song I would put on my playlist would be Nimble Bastard, the acoustic version, because I did not enjoy the original one.
I didn't know there was an acoustic version.
Oh yeah, it appeared probably in a remastered version or something. It's a version they released in a Japanese album or something like that. That's the only one. But yeah, those are my 3 songs.
Okay. What about you, JC?
All right, my first one is going to be State of the Art. It's just like you guys said, it's generic, it's sugary, it's poppy. There were some guitars in it that I liked, but overall, I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like Coldplay, something like that. That's what I was thinking with this song. My next one is going to be Loneliest. I didn't like that song at all. It's just, again, weird vocal effects, weird electronics, and it's more like R&B pop, but it doesn't really sound like an Incubus song. So that's going to be my second track. And my third one, I'm going with that interlude, When I Became a Man. It's just completely pointless. It's weird mambo and talking about learning to take a shower. And it's one of those tracks like Pearl Jam like used to do on their Vitalogy album. They would like stick these weird tracks that like just don't need to be there. So that's gonna be my 3. But there are some songs that I liked, which I'll mention later on. So that's it for now. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
Okay. Yeah, somebody already mentioned it, State of the Art. One I listened to it actually a second time, but overall I was just kind of meh on it, if I'm being honest. Glitter Bomb, yeah, of course that one. But the one that stuck out to me that just felt off right from the beginning was Nimble Bastard. Like I just, for whatever reason, the way I process music and the way I listen to music, no, it was just something felt off. I actually had to pause it and step back for a second, which rarely happens for me. Rockavale just knows this about me. We talked quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I have to take a step back and be like, that. I do have some positive things to say on some tracks, and When I Became a Man actually made me eyebrow raise a little bit. It reminded me a little bit of jokiness, but also like a tongue-in-cheek, like passing resemblance, although this guy's a lot better, a Zevon-esque track in like it makes you raise an eyebrow for just a quick second on something. So that reaction got that from me. But yeah, those are the 3 there. But yeah, the one that felt the most off to me was Nimble Bastard.
Okay. Yeah, I think almost everyone has different stuff.
Why did they make Nimble Bastard the single?
Sounds generic, so maybe generic rock song.
True.
Yeah. So my 3 picks, I picked Loneliest because it's a boring track, and I don't like the electronics, and I don't like the way that he's singing on it. He can do better. I put When I Became a Man because it's 46 seconds. It's just stupid. It doesn't need to be. And The other one I picked was like the state of the art, because it's just too syrupy, and it's too syrupy. And I think Incubus can do songs that are pop, but not syrup, like Drive. Drive is a great pop rock song, but it's not syrupy. It's good, and they've done also songs like that in the past. And Rock of Olayes, I'm sorry, but I love Akua's transmission, the song that, of course, well, you
I
have to
mean,
be.
I didn't hate it. It's not my favorite on that album.
They played that whole album live when Lorenzo and me saw them last. And yeah, it's I love the experimentation. That's why I didn't pick Lumby in the Time of Surveillance, because I agree with Lorenzo there that that's like the only song on the album, because Incubus always experiments something on their albums, and this album just seemed to me like Incubus phoning it in a little bit. Like we need a record, guys. Here it is. So I hope that that's not the case for the one that's coming in October, because it's been a while. It's been 8 years, but this record. So those are my three picks. So now we're going to the third and final round, where we give our final thoughts that are both thumbs up, sideways, or down. So Rock of All Ages.
I kept my final thoughts pretty short and simple. It isn't the worst album ever, but the vocals and the songwriting, and in a lot of cases the production. I mean, I didn't think the production was the worst thing about the album, but the vocals and songwriting were just weaker than they used to be. I mean, knowing the standard of quality that Incubus had in the 2000s, this is a bit of a step down. But again, I don't think it's the worst thing ever, so I'm going to do a soft thumbs down.
Okay, he's soft. What about you, Lorenzo?
So, I listened to this album 3 times. Sadly, with each listen, I hated it more and more. It just sounds so generic, and if this is the Incubus, the new Incubus, then I'm not sure I want to listen to it again, because it sounds like everything else. And the thing I liked about, I'm not saying that a band has to do the same things they do every time. You're talking to an Opeth fan, so the Opeth, as in the whole discography. So I like when bands change it up, but there's something about this album that feel, and it doesn't. I don't think they were. I don't think it was like done throwaway style like Puddle of Mud did. But I think it's just there was no creativity. Maybe the creative juices weren't flowing, and they needed to put out an album, because it had been a while since they released one, I think. And it feels too generic. It feels too, Brandon's voice is not produced well here. Even if his voice is not the same, there's none of the experimentation with his runs and his he's rapping. There's no rapping here at all. And I'm not saying you have to fill the thing with rapping, but sometimes that switch works when it came to Incubus, especially. And just the songs, they feel like throwaways. It feels like B material that they had to put on an album, and okay, let's just put out these songs. And it's kind of sad. It saddens me, because I like Incubus a lot, and their show live was really awesome. I sang my head out during that concert, so I enjoyed the hell out of it. But this album is just is not that good, and it's sad. I was hoping that I could blame it on Skrillex, but I don't think I really can. I don't think Skrillex's hand is seen here, except for in that throw away the map, out the map song, and some of the other songs where the electronics are kind of weird. But there's not a lot of that here. It's just lame butt rock. So thumbs down.
So 2 thumbs down. What about you, JC?
Okay, I think it's not, I mean, as good as their classics. I mean, it's not anywhere near as good as the ones from the late '90s, early 2000s. But with that being said, I think there was some stuff that I liked here. Actually, I thought I like "Love in the Time of Surveillance." I thought that was probably the best track on it. But there are also some songs that maybe I think some of you might have mentioned that I actually like Litter Bomb. I didn't think that was that bad. I thought it had some pretty good guitars on it. The opening track is pretty good, No Fun. It kind of had that classic Morning View sound. I thought that was a pretty decent track. I like Familiar Faces. It kind of reminded me of like 311, and kind of gave me that vibe. But it just has, it has some weaker moments. So I don't think it's like a complete throwaway album. I think there are a few tracks here that are going to save it. So for that reason, I'm going sideways to this one here.
Nice. So 2 thumbs down. Well, one was like slightly down. And
Yeah.
1 sideways. What about you, Josh?
Okay. I'm kind of echoing what some of the others are saying here, and I'm wondering if there were some parts I liked in Loneliest, but also I'm wondering if that had the Skrillex effect in there when y'all were talking. There are some moments that I did like. Of course, I liked the guitars in No Fun. I'm writing it down here. I liked Love and Times Fans. I liked the intro and guitars on that, so I really enjoyed that. My favorite track is Familiar Faces on this album. Like I remember going back and being like, I had a really good I deal with like emotional responses when I listen to music sometimes. And I remember that the feeling that I had with that. I also have Synthesia, if that's what you call it. There are some songs that I can Churches back here is a big proponent of that. I'll listen to their music and I'll like feel something or see something when I do that. And Familiar Faces for me was to me worth the admission. It's not a terrible album. It's not the worst I've had, but I could hear where there were moments where it was phoned in. I could, overall get that vibe with that. So it's not as bad. It's probably something I wouldn't revisit. I'd probably put Familiar Faces on a playlist, but it's middle for me.
Okay, so we have 2 middle and 2 down. So for me, I actually dislike this album more when I listened to it back in 2017 than now. Plus, I listen to a lot of shit. So to prepare for this. So sometimes this is, like when you listen to so many bad stuff, some things are starting like, it's not that bad. So it's a thumb sideways. I think there's some track. I just think it's a little bit phoned in. Maybe this album with better production and maybe like a few better songs and more information could have been a thumbs up. But I just think it's not that memorable. But there's some tracks that I liked. Am I back to it? No, but I also don't think it's their weakest record. I think I've seen some lists that if not now, when they put it as their weakest record, which I don't know. But to me, I don't know when this came out, I thought it was like, but I think I enjoyed it more now than back then. So I don't think it's great, but I also don't think it's super bad. So that's why thumb sideways. So we have 3 thumb sideways and 2 thumbs down. So this album is like I guess barely
crawling for its life.
Yeah.
It's barely, when I'm comparing these to Puddle of Blood, like at least there's some effort. I think Brandon Boyd is a good vocalist. I just don't know I don't know if it's the way that they recorded this. I don't know who recorded this, but yeah, but it does sound a little bit phoned in. But yeah, if 2017 me would have gave it a thumbs down, but listening to it, I like no fun. I didn't have a problem with Nimble Master. And Familiar Faces I thought was a good track as well. So yeah, there's stuff here that I thought was half decent. So Coachers, there you have it. We barely saved Incubus-8. So now we gotta see when something in the water comes out on October, what direction they're going to take, because it's been so long. So yeah, I saved it, but obviously I prefer Bake Yourself, Morning View, Science any day of the week before this one. So I wouldn't recommend you start Incubus with 8. So I want to thank my panel for joining. Rock of All Ages, thank you for joining. And what do you have coming up next on your channel?
Well, the next video I have coming up is a video that I did with JC over here. We talked about Judas Priest, so keep your eyes open for that.
Nice, that should be fun. So Lorenzo, he doesn't have a channel, but Lorenzo, thank you for joining again. And obviously, you shall return, right?
What was that?
You shall return.
Yes, I will return.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll listen to Macho Man soon. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That sounded like the Kool-Aid Man.
A little bit. Yeah, we'll have to do that one soon. So obviously, JC Rock and Metal Reviews. Like subscribe to his channel. He's got a lot of like content, and he's past the 5,000 something subscribers. Congrats, JC. What's next?
Thanks. Yeah, if you noticed, I hit 5150, and if you didn't know, that's a Van Halen album. So
Yeah.
I've been working on a video about that album. I'm gonna do just a review of 5150 in celebration, which will probably be out like before you post this. So it should be out for the people watching this now. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I'm like, oh my God, yes, Van Halen.
Yeah.
So Josh, tell us about your channel, man. Since you're
Well, my channel is a mix, just a little bit talking about music. I collect vinyl, so I mainly talk about the records and everything, but I've recently been doing a new series. I put out maybe 2 videos of that where it's more podcast style, where I'm behind the camera, and I talk about 5 albums in a singular video, like 5 random albums from my collection. I'm working on one right now that is related to Styx. I have 5 Styx records in my collection, so I'm talking about those. Another one that I am working on is, this is actually what I call my music notebook. So I have been more actively listening to albums, and I have listened to close to 40 albums and EPs this year. So as I've been listening, I actually wrote down the Incubus one. But as I've been listening, I've been putting like a grade. So just have been working on my first video that's coming with this is the first 5 albums on the list, talking just very briefly, maybe about a minute or so for each album. And then one other one that I'm working on is I got to see Coheed and Cambria over the weekend
nice.
with Mastodon and Periphery. So I actually filmed a video. I was actually editing a little bit before we were talking, but one of the cool merch items that you could get at the show is,
Oh, that's cool.
so the band is based, if you don't know, on comic books. Claudio writes comics for the lore of the band. So this is the first one. I'm a relative newbie to them, so it's like I'll pick this up as a souvenir. And what's really nice is they didn't overcharge. It's the same as retail, but at the shows you can actually get Claudio signed graphic novels. So
Awesome.
I'm excited for that. And then of course, I wore my tour shirt for tonight. So I have those 3 videos. Takes me a little bit longer than some to go through editing, but I'm hoping this upcoming weekend, as of we're filming this, that I have that video out and ready to go for the concert, because I love concert diaries. I don't get to go to too much.
Awesome. I'm also
Sounds awesome.
in Coheed 2 times. So yeah, and Claudio is half Puerto Rican, so
We always we know if a band has a Puerto Rican somewhere, we're gonna we're gonna follow them.
You're gonna make the most of it, man.
Oh my God, yes.
In Puerto Rico, like in the news, like if someone like, oh, if someone goes to space, oh, that guy that went to space, he's not Puerto Rican, but brothers, nephews, cousins,
His
Former roommates.
grandfather on
you'll be like, what the hell does that have to do with that? So yeah, awesome. So for my channel, obviously I have so the next Is It That Bad? The next Is It That Bad? Let's do the Randy one.
Oh yeah.
We'll do the Randy. Next week we'll pick a day that we can record that one. And after that, we're also doing the Rockstar Supernova episode. But I think I think Chile wants to be on that one. So yeah, those be the next episode. And also there's a YouTuber called Notes Reviews who suggested that we do a Genesis album. I think it's ABC or something.
Oh, Abacab.
Abacab.
He said we should do an episode on that one, but I have to see because he's super into prog.
What?
So
Is it that bad?
Yeah, he wants to do.
Oh no, you would want to do Calling All Stations.
Well, he said that that's the one that he said to do. I don't know.
It's kind of a divisive album because it's when they started going into like a pop sound. It has like Phil Collins doing more singing, and it's that they're leaving the prog and they're going into pop. I actually like the album, so I'd probably be biased. Yeah.
I haven't listened to it, but
I haven't listened to the album either.
I'm channeling my inner Patrick Bateman. Do you like Phil Collins?
Yeah. So those will be the next episode. So but yeah, Randy. So and plus there's a new box Sherry coming out soon.
Oh God.
Oh no.
You're crazy, bitch.
Is that the new Puddle of Mud for this
Oh, it could be.
for this series?
We'll probably get the album before because Box Sherry's on one of the agencies that sends me stuff. So so that's coming out, I think, June 13th. So Box Sherry's coming soon. So we'll have a few episodes coming out. So yeah, so if you like, the videos, give me a thumb, subscribe. As we're recording it, I'm two subscribers away from 2K. So
I mean, it could happen by the time this video goes up.
yes, maybe by the time this video goes up, I'm over it. But it's how it goes. Sometimes you gain, you lose. So Couchers, I want to know from you guys what you think of Incubus-8. Comment down below. What would you rate it? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down, and let us know. So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you on another episode of Is It That Bad? Thank you and goodbye.